Your selfishness is the only limitation to your potential. Your selfishness is the only limitation to what you can achieve. You were born with unlimited capacity to do whatever you want to do, to have whatever you want to have, to be whoever you want to be, but only when you lose the selfishness, only when you begin to bring other people into the picture, because you might be willing to let yourself down. These days, it seems like people shirk responsibility. People don't want to be the leader. People don't want to be the person in charge. People don't want to be viewed as the person that's setting the example or setting the standard for everybody else. It's like people are scared of this responsibility of leadership. But the harsh reality is that we're all leaders. And it doesn't matter what position you play in society. It doesn't matter what position you play in your company or your team. It doesn't matter if you want to be a leader or not. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, or your socioeconomic status. You are a leader whether you want to be or not. When I was 17 or 18 years old, I was a gymnast and I used to coach at this gymnastics camp out in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee. And we had this one little girl who was 8 years old when she went to camp. And she was the most innocent, just beautiful soul that you've ever met. And she had the best week of her life. And the office gets a call from her mother. She said, I'm on my way there to pick her up. She said her father, my husband, just got in a car accident and passed away. And we were all completely shocked. And the little girl had no idea, and we were just sitting there waiting for her mother to arrive. She had to drive 8 hours from across the country. The entire time we're just waiting. This 8-year-old little girl's life is about to change forever. And I was instantly hit with this burning question in my heart. I said, I wonder if that little girl watched me do anything this week that might help her even 1% get through what she's about to go through. I want to know, did she watch me lead people? Did she watch me handle adversity? Did she watch me conquer a challenge? Did she watch me in a moment of frustration and anger and sadness or whatever was going on with me? Did she watch me handle myself, conduct myself in such a way that might make it just 1% easier to deal with the biggest tragedy of her life that is about to happen? Somebody's looking to you as an example. And it might be completely subconscious. It might be somebody you've never even met. It might be somebody at the gym that you go to every single day and they watch how you do those sets and they watch how you handle it when it gets difficult. It might be somebody at work. It might be one of your employees or your coworkers, but somebody watches the way that you react under stress, under pressure, under adversity and opposition, and they're looking to you to set the example. Whether you want to or not, you are setting an example for somebody. The only question you have to ask yourself is, what type of example do you want to set? You can try and shirk off this responsibility of being a leader, or since it's going to happen anyway, since you're going to be a leader anyway, you can embrace that responsibility. You can embody that responsibility. You can take on that responsibility willingly and openly, and you can treat it as an obligation, because once you do, you will be able to outcompete anybody else. Because until you begin to view leadership as your responsibility, as your obligation that you are expected to execute with excellence, you can't compete with somebody like me. You can't compete with somebody that was born, that was built, that was put on this earth to help people. I was put here to make an impact. I was put here to help others. I was put here to lead. If you get to a point where you surround yourself with certain people, where you know that people are watching you, where you know that there's people counting on you, where you know that you're setting an example, when you get to a point when you're not willing to let them down, your life is going to go to a whole nother level. And the great part about it, the great part about being a leader is that when your life goes to another level, the lives of everybody around you goes to another level. Your spouse's life goes to another level. Your kid's life goes to another level. Everybody who's watching you, their life goes to another level. And I don't care if they're watching you in admiration or if they're watching you to hate on what you're doing. Everybody goes to another level. That's the beauty about being a leader. But here's the challenge. You got to lead me before you can lead we. I'll say that one more time. You have to lead me before you can lead we. You have no authority over anybody else until you have authority over yourself. Stop trying to advise other people until you get your life under control. That's why I'm telling you it starts with you. It starts with the example that you set. It starts with the way that you conduct yourself, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you handle adversity, the way that you handle hard times and opposition. That's the measure by which you should judge yourself. Now, everybody can do it, but not everybody will do it. But here's the formula. I promise you, this formula will take you as far as you want to go if you would just implement it and execute it. It's 3 steps. Number 1, vision. Number 2, values. Number 3, volume. Vision. What do I mean by vision? If you go to your car right now, like literally right now, go to your car, sit down, and open up your GPS. It will give you an exact coordinate of where you are right now. It'll give you an exact position. It'll tell you latitude and longitude. It'll tell you within a couple of feet where you are on the planet. But here's the challenge. Until you give it a destination, it's useless. All of those satellites that are up in the air triangulating your position and all the math and science, and it's beaming this information back down to the earth, it's all completely and utterly useless until you give it a specific destination, an exact address of where you want to go. Until it has that, it can't create a path for you. And so many of us waste so much time trying to chart a path, trying to figure out a step-by-step formula, trying to figure out exactly how we're going to get somewhere when we don't even have an exact idea of where we want to go. You've got to have a vision. So get specific for me. Exactly how much money do you want to make? Exactly how big do you want your business to be? Exactly how many employees do you want to have? What kind of house do you want to live in? What kind of car do you want to drive? What kind of vacations do you want to take? What kind of hobbies do you want to develop? What kind of fitness do you want to have? What kind of health do you want to have? What do you want to look back at you when you look into the mirror? Who do you want to be? Who do you want to become? What kind of life do you want to live? You've got to get specific, because until you have a vision, you will never be able to chart a path to achieve that vision. We're never going to hit a target that we aren't aiming for. Now, once you've got the vision, we need to start reverse engineering this with our values. And we have to ask ourselves the question, now that we have this vision, who must I become to achieve that vision? What kind of values would I have to have? What kind of beliefs would I have to have if I wanted to make this vision become a reality? What kind of behaviors and actions would I have to do? What would I need to think about? What kind of habits and routines would I need to have if I want to make this thing become a reality? So you can literally have a vision, reverse engineer it, and that becomes your plan. And you just say, okay, instead of thinking about all the different things that I need to do, why don't I just focus on all the different things that I need to become? Because when you become the right person, then the actions that you're going to do will come naturally to you. See, you can try and go work hard. You can try and be dedicated. You can try and be committed. You can try and do the things that in your mind you associate with those behaviors, with those types of people. But when you simply become that person, when you become the person that is capable and willing and deserving of getting those outcomes that you want, then the outcomes come naturally. You don't have to think too much about the how because you understood the what and you became the who. The how will take care of itself. So do me a favor, focus on the vision, focus on the values, and then focus on the volume. It's so funny when people come up to me in the gym and they'll say, how'd you get those arms? How do you look like that? And they expect me to tell them some sort of secret, some sort of tactic, some sort of technique or strategy or training method that they've never heard of, or some supplementation routine that is going to change their life. And I tell them, I did the exact same thing for 15 years straight. I worked out every single day for 15 years straight, for a decade and a half. That's how I did this, as I was consistent. It was effort over time. It was work ethic times consistency. That's the formula for success. So, vision, values, volume. If you follow that 3-step formula, I promise you that you can figure out how to accomplish anything that you want. Now, here's the reality though. We all have the ability to lead. We all have the ability to follow that formula. We all have the capability of doing that, but most of us won't do it. Most of us live our whole lives stuck in possibility and potential instead of purpose and performance. Most of us stay stuck, capable of so much, but actualizing very little of that potential. I was afraid of what somebody else was going to judge me off of because of my past, because of what I had done, because I hadn't always been this person. Somebody was going to bring all that stuff back up and they were going to keep me there. And it's such a crazy mindset. It's not going to be easy. It's not an easy process. This pruning process is painful. There is somebody in this world who is suffering because they haven't experienced your leadership. There is somebody in this world because you haven't shared your story, because you haven't inspired somebody, because you haven't reached back to help somebody else through what you may have already gone through, because of who you may have been. You are uniquely equipped to help somebody else and you haven't done it. They are waiting for the experience that only you are uniquely equipped and qualified to use to help them, because somebody's stuck down there right now and they need the advice, they need the perspective, they need the empathy from somebody who's been there before. Lead yourself, lead others, and together we can make the world a better place.